You're listening to the Water Cooler Edits with Chris and Rich.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Water Cooler Edit with MyBayut with myself, Chris, and Rich. This is a special edition as well because, of course, we will be talking about B3DXB. As always, I'm joined with Rich. However, Rich, you're not the special guest here this week because we have someone even more special than you, I have to say. I know we've been doing this a long time together, but...
there is a tear running down my cheek at the moment, Chris,
all right,
but I'll let you carry on.
I've got some tissues. Would you like it? It's okay.
Yes, please, pass them over.
Okay, it's too far to reach. Our special guest today with us is Sahar Khan, the Director of Marketing at Bayut and dubizzle. Sahar, thank you so much for joining us. B3 was absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
Thank you so much for having me here. B3 was very special this year. I think it was great. We had great response from the registration process, starting from the registration process to the attendance, then to the execution of everything that happened at the event. It was a phenomenal event. We were actually planning in the planning stage and then in the organizing stage for the longest time. So having it getting executed in such a successful manner is really gratifying.
It was amazing, I've got to say. I learned a lot. Rich, you learned a lot as well. We were discussing this before as well. There were a lot of interesting things happening, not just from the agent's broker side, but for the average consumer. For those of you that will be using dubizzle and Bayut in the future, we have some very exciting things coming up. Now, a lot of them are catered more towards brokers, agents, real estate agents, and stuff like this. However, there's one that really stuck out, and that is Search 2.0, which is nothing short of, let's say, revolutionary, as it will literally change the landscape of how you search for your next house in the United Arab Emirates on both platforms, even taking consideration things like how close is a school to you?
Absolutely, and I think the way Haider put it and why we came up with this feature on the portal is because we don't just think about this year or the next year or the year after. We're thinking along the lines of what people will expect from portals like us in the coming years, like 5 to 10 years, because everything is changing, right? So you need to be, at the same pace as the rest of things are changing around you. He also mentioned how things have become easier with the apps that we have now, and those apps are also working on making it simplifying things and making it easier for people to even use those apps. So that's exactly what our end goal is as well. With Search 2.0, that was actually the most favorite of mine that was launched, the feature. It just lets you calculate the number of minutes that will take you to get to two separate desired locations. So for example, if you have your office or your workplace in D3 and your kids' school, so I'm a mother of 3 kids, right? So it's really important for me for the kids to go to school in time and not spend hours or at least a lot of minutes on the road. So for them to get to school in a maximum of 5 or 10 minutes is honestly my goal. And we have actually been moving houses just because of this reason. I've moved 5 houses in the last 8 years because of this reason, whether the school campus sometimes moved or the kids changed schools, from primary to secondary. So we had to move again. So that's something that's really important to me as a parent. And so to have something like this on a portal where I can specify 2 different locations and it will give me the results on where the best location would be for me to live in. I think that is revolutionary, absolutely.
So the system itself is basically an easier way to figure out where you want to live and be close to things that you like, for example, schools. But obviously, family is very important. There are a lot of families that live here, but of course there is a whole demographic of users out there that might not be looking for schools because they don't want to be stuck in traffic from the hours of 7 to... Wait, what time does school start? At 6? Is it 6?
7:30.
7:30 to about 9 o'clock. Traffic gets a bit hectic.
I knew it was early. I thought 6 would be quite obscenely early. I think I'm not sure the parents would be too happy about that one. Getting up at 4 in the morning.
That's what the whole point is, because some people actually have to leave at 6 because the school is so far away from them.
Yeah.
Right? So to get there in time, avoiding the rush hour traffic, they have to leave so early, right? So to help those people find a location that would be closer to school and the other places that they're interested in, I think it will help them a lot.
Yeah, they're almost like the focal points of their life with regard to locations. So school, work, it can be whatever. I don't know. They might have a particularly favourite supermarket that they want to live there. Who knows? But you know what I mean? It opens up that scope. I think genuinely, I think that's going to blow people away. that functionality. I think it will be just that people can do that. People will be like, wow, it's basically going to tell me my ideal area to live based on the current needs in my life, the current major needs. I think it's pretty special, I have to say.
So, of course, B3DXB 2022 wasn't just learning about new prop tech that's coming up. It was the event as a whole, activation, things to do, things to eat, things to see. There were so many fun activities to do there. Let's talk about our favourites. Sahar, let's start with you as you're our special guest here. What was your favourite part of B3DXB?
I really loved all the speakers, starting from Spencer and then Farhan and obviously Haider. But what I really liked about Spencer's was that he was talking about building a personal brand, and he was giving local examples, right? So people could actually relate to those people. They could see them, and they have seen them successfully grow their audience online. So I really liked that part. If we don't talk about the conference part of it and just the activation side of things, I really liked the interactive tunnel and the interactive robot, the B3 bot. I think she was very funny. She was very engaging, so there were a bunch of people standing over there at all times. Whenever you would go there, they wanted to talk to her. So I think her responses were amazing, and she could also recognize a lot of people. So that was really cool. People were not expecting that.
I don't think anyone was expecting that, except for a few of us who knew some inside secrets. But it was pretty cool to see that the robot would actually recognize people's faces. It would know people's names before they'd come up and everything like that, and even address them via their name, which is pretty cool.
I've got a few quick ones. Loved the greeter guys and gals, ushers. I'm not sure what the correct term is here. They're ushers in cinemas, aren't they?
They're called ushers.
Ushers, yeah, let's go with ushers. Yeah, so who had the fantastic outfits with the kind of shoulder pads and they had LED lights inside the shoulder pads, which means obviously so they could be seen from anywhere, especially in the arena where it was pretty dark. But taking that aside, I just thought they looked pretty damn cool. I liked them. I'm eyeing up a pair of those that I might wear into the office.
I saw some evening gowns. We've got those if you want. I don't know about the shoulder pads. Do we have any of those lying around?
Those were the agency, actually. So it was a lot of effort from it was a lot of effort from the team in the design aspect of those. But actually, you know what? Let us ask the agency to get us those.
Yeah, that'd be cool because Richard, we're perfect for us because we both only wear black, right? So we don't need to change our outfits.
I don't need to just stick those things on. Happy days. I'm away.
We like
and can be seen from anywhere.
Starlight Express.
You cannot hide that.
Was it Starlight Express that they had something similar to that, the musical?
Yeah, Starlight Express, long running. It was Andrew Lloyd Webber show, isn't it? And they're all on roller skates, and they had big shoulder pads with lights and stuff like that. So very Starlight Express, pretty cool. All the speakers were excellent, I have to. And I just like it when you learn stuff and you come away from it just feeling as though you've had some insight.
For me as well was the first lot of panelists. Now, obviously, all the panelists were fantastic. They gave us some great insight into prop tech. But what really got me engaged is the panelists at the beginning. I do remember at least two of the names and the real estate agencies as well. I think it's Highmark Real Estate and it was Better Homes. I think it was Zaina and Richard.
Yep.
The chemistry those two had was absolutely incredible. They were having basically banter with one another. They would sit there and they'd go back and forth, and they kind of opened the segment talking about hairdos. The event was real estate related, right? And real estate is quite a serious topic, right? It's something that
competitive business as well.
That too, and it's something that you have to put a lot of thought into. It's not a very easy thing to kind of get to grips with. It's not something that comes in, it's not like buying a car or buying a pair of shoes or a handbag or something like that. It's something that takes a lot of thought, and you really have to think about it. And it's a sort of a thing that you do when you get older. Again, you can buy a car at 16, you can buy a pair of shoes at 10, so on and so forth. But property is very different. So it's a very serious topic. But to see these two basically bantering with one another, it was so cool just to see these two talk about it. And they even did it on social media as well, talking about they should come work for a different company. Granted, they were talking about each other's, but it was very, very fun to see. And the panel as a whole, both of them, were very insightful as well, because like Sahar mentioned as well, it was building a brand, not just for the business that you work for, but yourself as well, because social media is so consumable. And when people kind of find out that you're in these industries, I think Vinton, the Irish gentleman, he discusses where he actually had people contacting him privately about real estate, coming to him as a trusted source.
I believe Vinton works for Allsop and Allsop, is that correct? Yeah, so I thought it was interesting what he was saying. Had a really big month in April, but he said that directly or indirectly, he could put 83% of sales during that period down to his social media presence. I thought that was kind of mind-blowing.
See, what people don't understand when they hear these people, how they've built their brand successfully, is that they want results overnight, so they won't come overnight. You have to actually spend a lot of time building your brand. It may take years, and that's what we see with Finton and these other popular people who are in the industry, real estate industry, and how much time they spend on creating that content. That's valuable for consumers. And that's why Finton is this successful that he is, because it just doesn't end there. Fine, you're putting this content out there, but it's relationship building and then servicing the customer. How are you doing that? He's actually one of the few agents that I personally know of who go above and beyond to fulfill their clients' desires and needs. So I think it's commendable, and we need more agents like that in the market who don't just focus and spend time on building their own brand, but also spend time on understanding the needs of their clients and making sure they fulfill them.
Completely agree, yeah.
So Sahar, what's next?
Events-wise, so someone asked me that yesterday, and I was like, you know what, please don't ask me this for at least a month. I don't want to talk about events right now, but we're constantly planning and making sure the brand is represented in the manner it deserves to be. Now, both brands.
So big things coming up in the future. Maybe B3DXB 2023 as well is in the pipeline. At least we'll ask you again in a month's time. We'll send you a
For
formal
B3
letter.
2023, actually, we started planning even before the event for 2022 happened. So we've already started the works for the planning. It's always a big event, and it's an annual event. It didn't happen in the past 2 years because of the pandemic, but we're on track. So that, yes, we are taken care of. No new events.
Well, that's been B3DXB 2022, a fantastic event. A huge shout out to everyone who put everything together. I know that cannot have been easy with all the things that we had going on, activations, real estate agents, brokers, individuals coming. It was a massive success. Over 4,000 people registered and in attendance as well.
Great team effort.
Yeah, the food was phenomenal as well. I can vouch for that 100%.
Oreo cheesecake. Special.
So that's going to be there next year as well, isn't it? But this is a wrap, I guess. Sahar, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope that you'll join us again on the podcast very soon.
Thank you so much.
But from Rich and myself, this has been the Water Cooler Edit from MyBayut. Thank you so much for listening.
Cheers,
and we'll
guys.
see you soon.
You're listening to the Water Cooler Edit with Chris and Rich.